And we're live.
All right, welcome back to the Chabinet meeting. We got some interesting articles yet again. As we keep saying, the world keeps turning here. We have some red hot China news going on, and well, I would say completely red hot, but clearly some people in Ohio and California think so. I am the department chair,
I am the cabinet.
and we have some interesting things going on here. So, Cabinet, have you heard about the story on Heavy about what happened to Representative was it Swalwell, as well as some Ohio mayors?
All
It
right.
looks like, yeah.
So I mean, there's so much Chinese infiltration of Western institutions across, at least across the Anglosphere. Um, I don't really speak as much for what's happening in Europe. I think Russia may have wield more influence there, but
Yes.
um, across Australia, across the United States, in varying agencies and government levels that I can't actually keep up with it all. I have no idea. So Eric Swalwell is what is his title?
He's a representative.
He's a United States representative
Right.
in Congress.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm the yep. He's representative. Yeah, he's supposed to be sort of this bright and shining boy coming out of California and making big waves eventually in the House of Representatives. Uh,
Right.
Not surprised if he was the one who was targeted. Um, I was gonna say, is China the new Russia? I guess are we going to be focusing on that now, since
Well, I
Trump
mean,
is at?
that's been a question for the last 4 years at least, right? But
Mhm.
possibly that's been a question since 2000,
Yeah, but
as to whether or not we're entering a Cold War with China.
China is our economic frenemy, however, which changes the ball game significantly in comparison to Russia. Uh, so many things you could discuss on that note, but let's not get too far off topic. I
Yeah.
guess
So
I'll
so
start
so what's
today.
going on with Eric Swalwell? What did he do or not do?
Yeah, right. So, this article, by the way, the one you're looking at from Heavy, I believe is from the 9th uh, of this month, if I remember correctly. So it's a few days old, and even after, yes, December 9th is when Heavy posted it. Um, and even after this was already posted, a day or two later, there's already more information from other places that were being poked at by the FBI. And apparently, this young woman, Christine Fang, formerly known as Fang Fang, there is a possibility that she may have been a Chinese intelligence operative a number of years ago who basically was planted into a number of organizations, primarily a college organization where she ran into a lot of Bay Area politicians and apparently some people even from Ohio as well, some mayors apparently. And the main gist is that she had sexual relations with a number of US politicians and was connected to a number of other Democratic politicians and used huh, her looks as well as her position to maybe get some information out of them. If not information, at least leverage. We'll put it that way.
Right, and or influence policy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's part of what's being suggested. So what's crazy here to me is like, um, this is another sort of soft power example, right? Like, how do you even prove if those are your allegations? How do you prove or disprove these allegations?
Well, and this is the one part I can't completely confirm. Uh, Supposedly, and this is coming from other content creators on the tubes of the Ubes, they're saying that the FBI did confirm that, for example, Representative Swall have some sort of encounters, sexual encounters with her at least twice. And he both refused to confirm or deny that that occurred, right? Um, so, I mean, how can you confirm it? And the FBI is telling you one thing, but that's also, should that be independently verified? And you're right. This is
Hold on. So U.S. officials believe she spied for a 4 year period.
mhm.
Um, well, okay. So an Axios report. Which U.S. officials need to have believed for that to be a thing in order for there to be charges leveled? Or what even is your recourse? Like, do you say this person's not no longer welcome in the United States? Do you say anybody who had business dealings with this person? Like, I don't know.
Well, this person, this young woman, has been out of the United States for a number of years. Like she's already gone. So this information is has cobwebs all over it.
Oh,
It's
okay,
that
so
old.
damage is done.
Right. It's old. It's over. It just popped up, out of the ether all of a sudden now, or at least that Axios says that they found this information. So it's time to, you could say appropriately, depending on why it's being used by whoever it's being used to make Swalwell look bad, make the Democrats look bad. By the way, these were all Democratic politicians that were apparently targeted, or at least that's what they're saying. Um, but focusing in on what Axios said, just going forward here from the very beginning. The report has led to speculation in the Buckeye State over the Ohio mayor's identity, but it's been revealed that the mayor was only one of Fang's targets as she built up a political Rolodex in a suspected, quote, long game espionage operation. That's basically what the Chinese have been doing for a very long time. She used political gatherings, civic society conferences, campaign rallies, and campus events to connect with elected officials and other prominent figures, Axios reports. So I also find something really interesting about that on the college level. She was the head of let's see, what was it here? So it was like a Pan Asian Pacific, like Islanders. She was basically the president of this one college organization. Oh, here it is. She was the chapter president for the Asian Pacific Islander American Public Affairs Group from a local university. So
Mhm.
directly, she's being glad handing with politicians, yeah, and being present all the time with these, politicians
Well,
who are trying
a
to look all
politician can
well.
turn around and say, "Look,
Uh-huh.
I'm providing help to these disenfranchised groups." Right. This is the way that I've heard some Chinese officials talk about how to take advantage of the West's weakness, and that's their words, not mine.
Yes, certainly. I mean, the honeypot is effective. Oh, jeez. Um,
Right.
I
What I'm
mean
saying is it's not just like, I mean, obviously
that.
sex is a big
Yes.
part of this, but a part of the compromise that they're able to take advantage of is they're able to say, well, look, these former colonial powers in the West, these Anglophone countries like Australia
Hmm.
and England and the United States, feel bad about the era of colonialism in which they were, able to according to some narratives, take advantage of these disenfranchised peoples, and so um, they're using that as an inroad to say, okay, well, um, we're gonna present our agents and operatives as leaders
College
of
students.
yeah, well, as college students um, who are professionally aggrieved,
Right.
right?
So you look at it that way. I didn't even think about it that way till you just mentioned it. I'm thinking it more of like, okay, I'm thinking about Bay Area politics out there in California. What better way to strengthen relations between, say, the Chinese community, if you're a local politician in California, than saying, "Oh, hey, government of China, look what we're doing with your local student body and a number of your Chinese citizens who are
Right.
going to college here. Look at this.
But
I'm
these are
glad
that's
handing
the
with
thing is
them."
they're not United States citizens who
Right.
have Chinese heritage. They are Chinese citizens living in the
Right.
United States and claiming to be um, minority groups who deserve uh, who deserve more things.
I mean, yeah, the local politics of like LA and whatnot. I am not surprised with
Right,
this.
and the narrative will be, well, you have historically treated United States citizens who have Chinese heritage badly. Therefore, you owe these people free college. You owe these people access to certain institutions. You owe these people meetings with your politicians. And meanwhile, the people that are receiving these supposed benefits um, are not U.S. citizens with Chinese heritage. They're Chinese operatives.
Right, right. So, I mean, how many? Yeah, how many of those college students are that? I mean, probably not as many as we think, but in the same
I think more
instance,
than we think because
you
on
think more
top.
than
So I guess this makes me sound like some kind of paranoid McCarthyite. I'm not saying like, but the I think there are large numbers of people living in the United States um, who have who have strong connections with the Chinese Communist Party,
right,
who are not on paper Chinese citizens or officially connected with the Chinese Communist Party.
right. And there are so many, um, say, for example, Indian and Chinese nationals who come to United States for continued education and for that college experience and education to get there, and a lot of them stay here, and it is a extremely easy avenue if you were a foreign intelligence agency to implant people in the United States government. And they don't even have to necessarily be an operative, say, that this young woman is, if she indeed is, which more than likely it seems to be so, because the FBI is like, yeah, yeah, she was more than likely.
The
Um,
FBI, a firmly reputable and trustworthy source.
hey, I'm going off what we possibly can here.
Like they
um,
haven't been compromised. Like anyway,
oh God. Yeah. Oh, I mean, even if
yeah,
you want to think about it
that's
that
fair.
way,
So even the FBI is saying this is an actual operative. The evidence must be pretty damning
right,
because it seems that of late they're very reticent to actually identify any wrongdoing anywhere.
right. I mean, we play this game as well with the Chinese. I mean, we have been for a long time, so it's a back and forth game. So,
But what I'm saying is the people this hurts are people who actually are coming here or want to come here um, to be a part of the American enterprise. People who have capitalist dreams across the world. They're not the people getting visas. They're not the people being sponsored by the Chinese government to come here and study.
yeah, because they usually don't have that ability, or they've somehow snuck their way out of the country, and maybe they're already here.
Well, and those people too. So let's talk about Americans who have a Chinese background or
Yeah.
who escaped communist China one way or another,
Hmm.
who are enjoying the American dream, but now they get lumped in with these spies.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, the internment camps were not a bright spot in American history, and I wouldn't want to return to something like that. But
Exactly.
th- there's when the Chinese government is playing in this dishonest way, how do you
How do you play
parse it?
ball? You have to do the same. I mean,
Okay, okay,
that's
well, like evil for evil, but that doesn't solve the problem here.
well, then that's the thing is you put more money experience into the CIA, the FBI, and you try to
Yeah,
track these
those
individuals down.
organizations aren't bloated enough.
Oh,
Okay.
I know, but I'm
Well,
talking about
let's create a
more
new department to harmonize their information sharing. That works out, right?
because they get along so well together.
Yeah, I mean the Department of Homeland Security shares really well, right?
Right, and so's the NSA. I mean,
Yeah,
put
let's
them
make
all
another
together.
one.
I mean, it would be difficult, but you have to start somewhere to keep tabs on these individuals. Now, mind you, even me saying that, there could be someone who listens to this, listens to our channel, and says, "Listen to those people, how horrible they want to track everyone." Yet, that they promote the idea of freedom. I said, "Well, yeah, but when you're talking about a foreigner coming into the country, there has to be certain check marks that have to be
Right.
checked. You
So,
have
so
to have
I'm
an idea
actually
of who you are."
against tracking, right? I'm against data being used to track people. This is one of the complaints I have of the Chinese government. Um, I am all for vetting people crossing the United States border by air,
Correct.
by land, by sea, however they're coming here. I want
Right.
to know everything about their backgrounds. And
Right.
if I can't know, sorry, there are many other candidates who would like to come to the United States. So
Right.
if you can't prove that um, you're not leveraged by the Chinese Communist Party, I think maybe it should be just a hard no.
You definitely have that opportunity. It's tough though because the local politics
Well, I
of
mean,
some
the
of these
national
places.
politics, because basically I'm saying no to probably billions of dollars a year coming into all these colleges. I'm probably saying no to millions of people a year
Hmm.
because,
Hmm.
honestly, I think more often than not, you're not going to be able to prove a negative that this person is not connected with the CCP.
Right. And yeah, I mean, I agree with you about tracking. I obviously don't want that, but we can sit here and we both know that the NSA and other organizations are doing that because once they've been doing that for a long time. I
Well,
mean, you have
you
the
saying
Patriot
the
Act,
NSA is competently vetting people who are coming in?
not competently vetting people. I'm saying that they are tracking information, what's going on to some degree.
Oh, well, yeah, we know from Snowden at least
Right,
that that's happening. So
right.
that's super
Vetting,
gross. So
right. Vetting.
people who are doing the right thing are being tracked, and uh, enemy agents working for a foreign power seeking to undermine the power and influence of the United States are not being tracked.
Right.
So
Um.
that's it's going. That's it.
Yeah. So something you mentioned, it brings me to think about if we're talking about universities in the United States. You also have in Canada that there's a huge population right across the border where there's like tens of thousands of Chinese millionaires that are pouring into. I can't remember what city is in Canada, but that they love